Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. It has been months and months since I posted a video. Sorry you guys kind of fell off the radar, but I've been doing a lot of stuff, a lot of work. I've worked for Ford Motor Company this last year, Birkenstock, the Westin Nashville Hotel, and a couple other small residential clients, but been very busy honing in my skills, and now is the time to really hone in, because if you can kind of see behind me, I've got half of a nursery set up in my studio because I did have a baby, and that's why I was kind of gone for the last couple months. I was really focused on getting my work done and like social media, things like that. Not as much YouTube, which probably should have. But I wanted to do some testing with you guys. I know most of my videos on here have been kind of trial and error, so I have another trial and error to do today. So I'm really excited for this one. I'll explain the project real quick. My baby's sleeping, so hopefully we have some time to go over it. But I have a client that's in Aspen, Colorado. She loved one of my pieces. I'll show her here. It's called A Mountain Moment. That piece was created many years ago, and I feel like my skills and techniques have kind of evolved and gotten better. So I recommended an alternative to her, something I thought would be similar but a little bit more sophisticated, which would be including a topograph of Aspen in the popular mountains instead of, you know, the little Polaroids that I have in A Mountain Moment. And I'm partnering with Columbia Pressworks on this. He is a leather worker in Tennessee as well, like me, and he primarily does topographs. So he'll create a male and a female part and press the leather in between them to create a topograph. So we're kind of doing the best of both worlds with that, whereas I'm going to be doing the embossing and molding on top of a topograph that he cuts with his CNC machine. So what we're doing today, though, since we're not creating that male or female part, we're not creating both, we're only creating one, so I can glue the leather on top. I needed to find a way to get into every crevice of the topograph without using just my fingers, because obviously there's a lot of little intricacies with the topograph. So what I did was I 3D printed a little Colorado topograph. This is way too detailed. It's not going to be this detailed because the size of this piece is a 48 by 48 and the topograph is a 36 by 36. I think this is like 3 inches by 3 inches. But what I'm going to do is, I thought, what would be heavy enough that I could put the leather on top, you know, glue, and sink it into all the crevices, not just with my fingers. So I thought, what about like kinetic sand or some kind of liquid I can pour into a bag or something and just like weigh it down. So I came up with 4 options. Don't know if any of them are gonna work, but we're gonna test them out right now. I bought some thinking putty. So I'm gonna put a piece of plastic over the leather when I do it so that none of the material gets stained on the leather or has a reaction or anything like that. So I got thinking putty. I got foam clay, which apparently this like doesn't, like, you can reuse it. It says you just like add water and reuse it, because I wanted to find something I could reuse for other designs and not just like have it dry and cure and be like, well, that was a waste of money. I have non-drying molding clay, and I have therapy putty that comes in like extra soft, medium, firm, high grade silicone. So if you guys have any better ideas though, please drop them below in the comments, because obviously this is a really small piece of putty. I would love to find something bigger, because a 36 by 36 is going to take me a couple hours if I'm just using this little piece of putty. But we're going to test it out today. So this is not the leather I'm using, but this is probably the brand that I'm using in a different color, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to dip dye. This is chrome tan leather, which is already, you know, dyed and colored as it is. But I needed something flexible. Normally Columbia Pressworks use veg tan because it presses once it's wet, it kind of stays. I can't get mine wet since I'm going to be using a water-based glue underneath. So I normally do lambskin when I'm doing embossing. This is about 1 millimeter, maybe a little bit thinner. I might be able to get it thinner because it looks like there's like 2 layers on here. I can talk to the vendor about that, but I had this extra, so we're going to use this. But the dip dye, it's going to be like a cream leather with mint green and like a turquoise, like really watercolored, washed out though, to match the other art pieces that are in this client's room. So what we're going to do is we're going to, I don't know, take one of these, probably the therapy putty first, because I opened that and I opened the thinking putty. We're going to put it on top of here, put some plastic on, and then we're going to press it in we're gonna start with this therapy putty, which I already opened the extra soft, and like honestly this kind of is therapy. It's like really fun to play with. Ooh. But if this doesn't work, I guess I need to like, maybe I'll just start with like a little corner, because this did take like 4 hours to 3D print, even though it's so small, just because it's so, got so many details to it. Ooh, this is fun to play with. I love when like the bubbles pop. That's the best. I got my breakfast over here too. So let's lather some glue on this. I use Aquilum. I think it's 315, Aquilum 315 water-based contact cement. Okay. And I'll probably let that dry for a second. This is really detailed on this side too, but it is so small, I don't think the leather is gonna really pick it up, because the leather, I mean, like, even though it's thin, it does have its own little grain to it, so it might not pick up all the details we want, but we will see. But good news is the client loves like the natural look of leather and like the damaged parts of it, so we're gonna take the extra soft therapy putty. Pops right out. Oh, like this one, this putty's cool too, but this one's like really soft. This one's kind of hard. I love the coloring of this one though. Look how cool that is. It's got so many bubbles in it too. Bubbles are so much fun to press. Anyways, this one's a little harder to get out of the container, so. All right. I'm gonna put that over top. I'm gonna lay this piece of plastic. Ooh, we're gonna see if this works. Alright, let's see. Ooh, look how cool this is. This is really hard though, like it's hard to squeeze. Alright. Consensus on the putty. Ooh. I actually think this works pretty well. What do you think? I mean, you can't see the details that's like on this side, but I wasn't really anticipating to, because the leather detailing, it was larger than that detailing, but I do think it got like the side pretty well. So maybe I'll stick with the putty. I don't know. The foam clay, woo, and the polymer clay are packaged, so I don't really want to like open them up right now. So maybe we'll try that if it doesn't work. But I think this is gonna work. I might keep coming back in the next like couple hours and just keep pressing it down, because the glue does take some time to dry and to really like settle in. So I might just keep, you know, every couple hours just coming up here and just like tacking it into place a little bit more, but I definitely need to have plastic wrap in between. Anyways, we'll see what happens with this project. I'm really excited for it. I'm excited to try something different, but I will keep you guys updated. Thanks for joining me, and if you have any tips on what I should be using instead, something that might be heavier or can be poured into like a big bag or something like that, please let me know. Bye.